Welcome to 21st Sports recap and reaction of the New York Jets at the New England Patriots in their Week 7 matchup played October 25th, 2015. We're going to go over the scores and the stats and give our breakdown and analysis of this game between these two AFC East rivals as they were battling it out for first place there in the AFC East. And to start off in the first quarter, just over 2 minutes in, Stephen Gostkowski put the first points on the board with a 38-yard field goal that made it 3-0 Patriots over the Jets. Then with about 7.5 minutes still left in the first, the midway point in the first quarter, Nick Folk hit a 20-yard field goal, and this game was tied up at 3 apiece. So that would do it for the first quarter. Then in the second, with about 12.5 minutes left before halftime, Ryan Fitzpatrick hits Jeremy Curley for a 5-yard touchdown. With the extra point by Folk, it was 10-3 as the Jets took the lead by 7. But then 6 minutes later, with about 6.5 left before halftime, Tom Brady dove over the pile for a 1-yard touchdown. Gostkowski added the extra point, and this game was tied up at 10 apiece. And then, at the 2-minute warning, Stephen Gostkowski hit his second field goal of the game, this one a 46-yarder, and that put the Patriots up 13-3 going into halftime. So now in the third quarter, Gostkowski would hit his third field goal of the game with about 11 minutes still left in the third, a 24-yarder that made it 16-10 as he extended the Patriots' lead to 6. Still in the third, with about 4 minutes left in the third quarter, Fitzpatrick would hit Chris Ivory, and he would score on a 9-yard touchdown reception. Folk hit the extra point, and now the Jets were in the lead by 1 with the score 17-16, New York over New England. So now that would bring us to the fourth quarter, and about 2 minutes into the fourth, Nick Folk hit a 30-yard field goal to extend the Jets' lead to 4 with the score 20-16. Then, with a little over 7 minutes left in this game, Tom Brady hits Danny Amendola for an 8-yard touchdown pass. Earlier in the drive, they were faced with a 3rd and 17, and he hit Edelman, I believe it was, for a 27-yard reception to keep the drive alive. But here, the 8-yard touchdown pass to Amendola, and with the extra point by Gostkowski, it was 23-20 as the Patriots took back the lead in the fourth. Then, with just over a minute left to play in regulation, Tom Brady hits Rob Gronkowski, and he takes it into the end zone untouched, 15 yards for the touchdown. And with the extra point by Gostkowski, it was now 30-20 as the Patriots extended their lead to 10. But the Jets would come right down and get a field goal, a 55-yard field goal by Nick Folk to make it a 7-point game with the score 30-23. And then they would go for the onside kick. This was with less than half a minute left to play, just 18 seconds on the board. They go for the onside kick. They recovered it as Brandon Marshall made a really big play as he's been doing all season long, and he gets the onside kick, and now the Jets had a chance to send this one into overtime, but they didn't have any timeouts. Fitzpatrick would hit Eric Decker for a 12-yard reception, and with just a second left, the Jets get a penalty. Marshall gets called for a false start, and that runs off 10 seconds automatically with an offensive penalty, and so that would do it for this game as the game came to a close on an offensive penalty. It can't come to a close on a defensive penalty, but the game can come to a close on an offensive penalty, and the Patriots win 30-23. So the come-from-behind victory in the fourth quarter in a very tightly contested game as Brady threw 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to put the Patriots up as they would take the lead. In the fourth, they took back the lead, and they remain undefeated on the season. They're 6-0, 3-0 at Foxborough, and the Jets are now 4-2 as they lose their first road game of the season. They were undefeated on the road until they went to New England as the Patriots hand them their first road loss. So the Patriots now up by 2 games in the AFC East, as they remain in first place. And Tom Brady, 34 for 54 with 355 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He also had a rushing touchdown, which gave him 3 total touchdowns on the day. And Brady was actually the leading rusher for the Patriots with 4 carries for 15 yards, which shows you something about their running game. Neither team was able to run the ball much in this game, as the run defenses were very tight, but they were getting it done through the air. And of course, Brady, 34 for 54, but there was a lot of dropped passes. 11 dropped passes by Patriots receivers. More than half of them, 6, came by Brandon LaFell in his first game back active. But for the Jets, Ryan Fitzpatrick, 22 for 39, 295 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. He had 5 carries for 29 yards. He did fumble the ball, so he did have the 1 turnover, as Fitzpatrick always finds a way to turn the ball over somehow, some way. Although he did not throw any interceptions in this game, and he actually was the catalyst for the Jets' offense and kept them close in this game all the way down to the wire, as they were struggling to run the ball. As I said, Brady was the leading rusher for the Patriots with 15 yards, and the leading rusher for the Jets was Chris Ivory with 17 carries for just 41 yards. As he's been having a pretty good season, but the Patriots shut him down pretty effectively here on the ground in this game. He also had 2 receptions for 12 yards, which gave him a total of 53 yards. He did have that 9-yard touchdown reception, so he did have the 1 touchdown for Ivory through the air, receiving from Fitzpatrick. And the leading receiver in the game was the tight end Rob Gronkowski, 11 receptions, 108 yards, and a touchdown. And Danny Amendola had 8 catches for 86 yards and a touchdown. Julian Edelman, 5 receptions for 54 yards, including that 27-yard reception on that 3rd and 17 that set up the Amendola touchdown. And for the Jets, Eric Decker, 6 receptions for 94 yards. Brandon Marshall, 4 receptions for 67 yards. Then we look at the kickers. Gostkowski was perfect, so was Folk. Gostkowski, 3 for 3 on the field goals, 3 for 3 on the extra points. Folk, 3 for 3 on the field goals, 2 for 2 on the extra points. And then we look at the defense. Dante Hightower, 10 tackles in this game. Jamie Collins had a sack. Chandler Jones with a sack and a forced fumble, all for the Patriots. And for the Jets, Richardson, Pace, and Wilkerson each had a sack. Richardson forced a fumble, although with that fumble that he forced, the Patriots were able to recover, whereas when the Jets, when Fitzpatrick fumbled, it was the Patriots recovered it, and that did lead to a field goal. It led to 3 points. But we look at the team stats. First downs, 25 first downs for the Jets, 20 first downs for the Patriots. On third downs, both teams converted 8 third downs. The Patriots 8 of 16, 50%. The Jets 8 of 14, 57%. The Patriots went for it once on 4th down. They were 1 for 1. And total net yards, 372 for the Jets, 353 for the Patriots. Net rushing, 89 for the Jets, just 16 net rushing yards for the Patriots in this game. Of course, Dion Lewis was not active. Net passing yards, 337 for New England. Brady sacked 3 times, losing 18 yards. And net passing yards for the Jets, 283. Fitzpatrick sacked twice for a loss of 12 yards total. Look at the penalties. Not much, really, in this game. It was 4 penalties each. The Patriots penalized 38 yards. The Jets penalized 29 yards. And of course, they did, as I said already a few times. Fitzpatrick lost that fumble for the Jets, the only turnover in this game. And we look at the red zone. 2 for 4 for New York. 50% in the red zone. 3 for 5 for New England. They were 60% in the red zone. And the time of possession, 33 minutes and 3 seconds for the Jets. 26 minutes and 57 seconds for the Patriots. This is a heck of a game. They really battled out. Anytime these two teams get together, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a good game. Once in a while, you'll see a blowout. but usually it's a really tightly contested game regardless. But here in this game, these two teams battling out for first place. If the Jets had won, it would have been a tie. But the Patriots, with the win, go up by 2 games in the division. And, like I said, both teams playing excellent football. The Jets, give them credit. They played it down the wire. Todd Bowles has their defense playing really excellent. But Brady was just too much, as he is the greatest quarterback ever to play the game. And he's going to get it for you. When you give Brady the opportunity to win one at the end, 99 out of 100 times, he's going to do it. It's very rare that Brady, given the opportunity, does not manufacture a fourth quarter comeback when it's within reach, within one score. Brady's usually going to get the job done, and he did it here today. Once again, it was all on Brady's arm, on his shoulders, on his arm, however you want to say it. And with New York, what hurt them was that they couldn't get it going on the ground. The Patriots were shutting down the run. They were giving Chris Ivory all kinds of problems in this game, and they were forcing the Jets to have to win it through the air. And when it's Brady versus Fitzpatrick, my money's going to be on Brady every time. And Fitzpatrick, though, he didn't throw an interception to his credit, although he did have that turnover with the fumble early on in the game. But it was really, a passing game. And the Jets, they had it, they had the lead there in the fourth quarter. They even had the lead, at the end of the third when Ivory scored that touchdown. It was a very tightly contested defensive battle through the first 3 quarters, pretty low scoring. But then in the fourth, Brady turning it on and getting it done is when it comes down to the wire, when it's, the nitty gritty, when it's in that clutch time, that's when Brady shines the most. And, he pushed it over 350 yards in this game. And you got to wonder if the receivers had been catching the ball more, if there hadn't been so many drop balls, maybe the game wouldn't have been so close. Maybe they wouldn't have needed the fourth quarter comeback there. But, he gets him up midway through the fourth and then adds some points for good measure. And the Jets made it interesting. It came down to the final play as it ends in, kind of copious fashion. I don't know if that's even the right word, the right use of that word. But for it to end on an offensive penalty, you don't see that very often, but that's how it all went down. And even what was crazy about that is Brandon Marshall had just recovered that onside kick, and then he gets called for the penalty that brings the game to a close. When you got to think that if they had the chance to pull off that last play, they probably would have tossed it in Brandon Marshall's direction. So that's pretty interesting how that went down. But it was a really good game, and it's going to be interesting, to see moving forward what happens in the East from here on out. And especially the Jets showed that they could play the Patriots tight in Foxborough. So, next time these teams face up, it will be definitely a must-watch. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. Definitely interested to hear your thoughts and opinions and read them as well, because I'm not really going to hear them unless you make a response video. And if you do make a response video, leave the link in the comment section, or you can just leave a comment and let me know what you think. And I'm definitely looking forward to reading those, and I will respond if necessary. Sometimes if I don't respond, if I don't think it's necessarily calls for a response, if you're just saying sometimes comments are open-ended, sometimes they're just kind of a little quick comment, and I appreciate every single one of those comments regardless. I really do. And I thank you very much for listening. And I hope you're having a good day and have a good weekend and enjoy all the sports.